This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Hey, this is Tim Seeley, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello and welcome back to another fun-filled Friday night with the Capes and Lunatics and all those other F words. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, that's Princely Saint from New Jersey. It is
Charlie, the Professor Essa.
And that's Sleepy Drunk from Florida. It is
I'm not sleepy, and I'm barely drunk, but it's a little healthy.
She's like Sheldon Cooper. She's like, don't make me add you to my enemies list on this floppy disk. So we got.
I'm actually asleep and sober.
Sam always sleeping. Anyway.
Oh, then give me up this weekend.
Hey-o. All right. Okay. I was trying to decide if we should start off with the bad news. 2020 has taken another American icon from us.
Oh.
Alex
Trebek.
Man.
Didn't we already discuss this?
No.
No? Oh, man.
He just passed this week, I believe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We talked Sean Connery, but we didn't. Yeah,
Mandela effect in full effect.
You know what it is?
Again, just the list of the 2020 list.
2020 is.
I mean,
is
Chadwick Boseman, Sean Connery.
He was suffering as well.
Oh yeah, he had the cancer for years. Yeah.
And I would be okay if Jeopardy just kind of lived on classic game show TV. Just my opinion.
Well,
I think that franchise is too valuable now.
Is it though?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to say. There are
just put on another episode of Big Bang Theory like everybody else and move on.
Because as we were discussing on Super Connectivity, scroll down, a lot of times there are certain contractual obligations that exist. That means
it's been on as long as I've been alive and probably then some. Yeah, but I think the contract's done.
No, that's not how contracts work, Lilith.
If Cops can go off the air, so can Jeopardy. That's all that I can say.
You can go off the air in a controlled fashion. You can't just suddenly go off the air.
True.
And it's entirely possible that if whatever happens next doesn't work out, that, it will go off the air and it will fade. Or it will fade for a time until it gets redone after, because as people will point out, Art Linkletter used to host it. I believe it was Art Linkletter.
I heard the story. I heard, he had I don't think there was any great success there. And then when they were rebooting in the early 80s.
You gotta have your Canadian host, man.
Yeah, they came to they came to Trebek and they offered him the job, and I guess they were only going to pay him half what he was making, whatever other show he was on,
Classic Concentration.
Yeah, to host. And he was like, well, can I produce also? And they're like, yeah. So
that's where the money is. Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah, so he made up his salary by producing and hosting.
Yeah, and also interested in Classic Concentration, which I've been watching, and he's amazing at as well. So if you get Buzzer, you can watch Classic Concentration, and you see him in his prime before Jeopardy, back when he was a daytime game show host, back when daytime game shows were a big thing. And it's
man, you're gonna leave The Price is Right alone.
No, hey, I love The Price is Right. I still watch that now that it's great, working from home. It's like, that's the cool part about COVID. I get to have the TV on in my office.
Oh yeah, if I'm
poor
a day
schmucks
off.
who didn't have a TV in their office before.
I tried to, I just turn on WNYC when I'm in my office. But anyway, no, but he was great in Classic Concentration. But that was another show where he took it over and really brought it to the next level.
Oh yeah.
These were all shows that, he took it to another level and did a great job at it. And, but, and here's the thing is, because right now there is, which I actually am not comfortable with, is this effort to say, who's next? And it's almost
just what we do.
I know.
Yeah, but he loved the show. He would have wanted it to go on. I mean, would it have been morbid for him to pick his replacement?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they probably already had that kind of in his contract because he knew he was had been suffering for a while. I think Ken Jennings would have been his pick personally. I mean, no shade to LeVar.
Yeah, well, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, give us LeVar Burton.
Well, let's see. And because LeVar Burton recently endorsed the fan movement, and to me that was like, oh, that was a bad move, LeVar.
That's what I'm saying. If you know, you know.
Yeah. It's like, don't say, it's fine to say, I'd love to do it, but then you have to walk it back. And I didn't read the full article, so maybe he did. But, the internet being what it is, you got to be very cautious about this.
Listen, how about you just reboot Reading Rainbow already and leave LeVar alone, okay?
I mean, he'd love it if you do that. He does have LeVar Burton Reads, which I highly recommend everyone to download that onto their podcast list. You can get it both in with commercials, which is fine. I like commercials, but if you don't like it and you want to pay a Stitcher Premium, you can get the premium commercial-free. And you can listen to LeVar Burton read some amazing science fiction. And this is actually adult fantasy science fiction books for you. And it's really beautiful. The man is a fantastic.
Exactly. He's got enough on his plate.
Yeah. So he doesn't need it, but I'm sure it's a bigger paycheck than a podcast.
You'd be surprised. Look at Joe Rogan. Look at Michelle Obama. Look at all these people. You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised with successful podcasts, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
no shade.
I mean, not to be rude, but Joe Rogan doesn't do a podcast. Joe Rogan does infomercials in his podcast.
Same thing as Alex Jones and all those guys, but they're selling their vitamins, making their money.
I know. It's like, at least according to Paul Paltrow is
I have a whole thing about Joe Rogan and ruining the podcast industry in LA. Like it's a whole thing that nobody wants to hear, but one day I will write an article and it'll be fine.
Tell your truth, Willis. You gotta tell your truth. 2020 has taught me anything. We only have so many more days left to tell our truths. So,
oh my God, if only that were true.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Friday the 13th in 2020, come on. Just an asteroid out of nowhere. Come on.
In 2020, it was just another day.
Yeah, this wasn't even our first Friday the 13th in 2020, so don't even give me that. I mean, it's the full moon, the blue moon on Halloween.
Well, that's kind of when the lockdown started here, I believe, was a Friday. It was
exactly.
It was the Friday the 13th
hopefully
in March.
Reverse it, if anything, but maybe not.
No, so, there was supposed to be
how curses work? You have to wait till the next celestial event. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? What I'll say is, if Groundhog's Day has taught us anything, you don't get the good news until you learn your lesson.
Lord knows we haven't learned our lesson. We're going to be here forever.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Because the truth is that we may think we learned our lesson. Let's say if things go nicely in some runoff elections in the near future, and then people say, okay, I guess we don't have to worry no more, then everything goes back to, people forget that elections are every 2 years. And you have to...
Only the presidential election counts in America. Don't you know that, Charlie?
No,
nobody votes in the midterm. Unless you're a radical.
Then color me a pinko, because I am a radical.
I know that. It's just like most of Americans don't remember that. That's just all that I'm saying.
Well, I'm hoping the Utes, because they say the Utes are energized. These people reading, your
you gotta learn the loopholes, like lawyers,
and your Ms. Marvel,
get a lobby.
The Utes of this country are energized.
Get a lobby and throw some money in it. That's how our system of elections works. Sorry to break it to you, kids.
No, that is your cynical millennial mindset. My sweet future child.
As somebody who knows plenty of people that work in DC, it is the absolute freaking truth. Deny it or not, it's fine. You need the money, gimme.
Okay, my sweet winter child.
Oh!
You hit him right in the face with that sack.
I'm just saying, yeah. She called me a sweet summer child. That just means...
Yeah, I'm a dark winter child. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
You were, see...
I am an ice zombie. It is fine.
But that's the truth of it. See, that's the thing. That's the thing of it. You see,
my sweet summer child.
Winter starts on the winter solstice when the days become longer and hope is in the future. And summer actually starts on the summer solstice when the days become shorter and darkness expands out. So really, the summer child should be the one who comes to see the darkness, and the winter child should be the one full of hope. Just to make a point, mythologically speaking.
Speaking of scheduling by the stars, and
I was like, I found my end. Let me get it.
That's what she said. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of scheduling by astrological signs in the stars, so I guess Warner's is mulling over whether to release Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max in January.
Release the Patty Jenkins cut. Release it.
Or saving it for the summer, I guess, to compete with Black Widow. So,
bro, it's done. Wonder Woman's over. It's just the disrespect of it all. People were ready. People were wanting to go out to see it, but now it's just like, whatever, dude.
And
I thought it was the last DC thing I cared about. And when they said it wasn't coming out in October, I said, well, there you go. Now no one cares. You cancel the variants. Nobody's marketing it. It's done. Put it on HBO Max and move on.
Wait a minute. So are they competing with Marvel either way? Because if they do it in the summer, they're competing with Black Widow. If they put it on HBO Max in January, they're competing with WandaVision.
But WandaVision's a TV show. That's more of an
yeah, I know.
And it's not even on. I mean, it's HBO Max. It's competing with.
Yeah, but it's Warner.
Whatever's on HBO Max. What, Titan Seasons 3 or whatever it is.
And
I don't know when that's coming out.
As I said, and Lilith, you can countermand me on this. The difference in the debate for Marvel versus DC right now, or Disney versus Warner's right now, is that Disney's holding off releasing something within their plan. So they have a plan, and they're debating how they're going to structure the Black Widow release within their plan.
Right.
And, Wonder Woman, okay, it's a great...
It's the last thing people cared about besides the Snyder Cut, is my point that I'm making. So they're losing momentum. The longer they wait, the less people are going to care, because I am totally out. Don't care. Sorry, Gil. Sorry, freaking Patty. I'm out.
Sounds like a plan, Jen.
You blew it.
Yeah.
You blew it.
And they're not marketing it. They're not keeping it at the forefront of people's minds. People are going to forget. Whether you release it in the summer, it's just going to piss people off. It's just going to remind people of the bad times at that point.
I hope it's going.
It's not like Marvel, where it's like everything's connected and you're interested in, you know what I mean? It's just that last part of the DCEU that no one really cares about.
Well, I mean, arguably, I guess if we're going to give Warner's the benefit of the doubt.
Why?
If we're going to assume they're not idiots, which is a big assumption I'm granting.
A huge assumption.
It's a huge... I know,
Never assume, Charlie Esser.
They're making an ass out of you and me right now!
I'm just saying, they just hired a lady...
See you later, bunkies.
...who's going to crack that whip and keep this... She's going to shooterize the whole place and say, do it this way. And that's what we need there. Nice. Need someone to give pushback to creatives, man. That's all I'm saying. But if we're going to assume that there is a plan, then maybe their plan is, okay, let's see what this Snyder Cut does. Because Gal's in the Snyder Cut. And if
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse, but she's there.
Yeah, so but how long till we get the Snyder Cut, though? It's 2021.
I mean, they're making a 90-hour miniseries.
Yeah, and it's not done. It's not done, is it? So I would say it's probably not. We're probably not getting that till at least the second half of 2021, right?
Okay, yeah. So that, but the idea is that the closer they release it to it, then they can actually do sort of a double-blind comparison. Okay, this is what we might have done this is what we could do, but this one is part of this regardless. So
Are
we can.
movie theaters even going to be open by the time everybody's ready to distribute?
Look, the movie theaters will be open by the summer. I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's a vaccine that's almost here.
Okay.
Hey, the next president is already assembling a task force, little Hellfire.
Still don't have confidence. It's just a new president for me to make fun of.
Science is
Y'all can go off if you want to.
Science is coming. Hey, silence and common sense are coming back in the style, hopefully, in 2021.
With Joe Biden? No, sir. You're wrong. But
We got Kamala Harris.
It's better than what we had, but just slightly better.
We got Kamala Harris.
Not to get into the politics of it, look, here's what I'm going to say. I believe in the science of it. I don't think Pfizer would be hyping this.
They don't have any liabilities, and they're a pharmaceutical company. So let's just calm down with giving them the benefit of the doubt, first of all. But go on.
Actually, pharmaceutical companies have a lot of liability, but that's
debatable.
I thought I heard they said they have like a working vaccine, but the problem is that you have to keep it like stored like at a really cool
delicate
temperature.
Vaccine.
Yeah,
it's a double dose vaccine, so it is like the worst possible vaccine. I'm not going to deny that.
Okay.
It is the worst possible vaccine, but it's showing a very high success rate, which means that if you want to have it and have it work, you can do it. If you have an organized structure to implement it, which maybe
we might have
by February or March, we might have. And so I think by June, we may be out of this. You're going to get a natural downtick once it gets warmer. You're going to have a lot of factors that play into it. And thank goodness for global warming, we'll have an early spring. Because we said we've had a late fall.
I was gonna say no winter, early spring.
Yeah, I was gonna
exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hey, trust me,
it was like 70 in Chicago yesterday or something crazy.
Yeah,
Tuesday it was like 76.
It was
here.
like 50 in Canada. So yeah, like I'm talking up near New Brunswick and stuff where it's real cold.
Oh, I know. It's
So after,
trust me, I'm trying to remember the last. Like we get nor'easters. Like snow, it comes when you have nor'easters. Now you don't just get snow.
Yeah.
And then nor'easters are on top of snow. It's like, no. When we get a nor'easter, we have snow. And then it's like, now we're all living in Washington, D.C., where no one knows how to drive in the snow anymore. So
after COVID, we're coming for you, global warming.
Well,
fingers crossed. Let Greta's dream be true. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. People are so used to, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people, like, man, it's like people are like, mask? I kind of love them. Why did I let y'all breathe on me? That's kind of a thing. It's like, why did I ever go to the movie theaters with their expensive prices and their sticky floors? That's the thought that I'm saying.
Hey.
I mean,
Americans
honestly,
especially are creatures of convenience.
It's
not convenient to go to the movies.
I will lump myself in this category. I think at least 80% of the population needs to cover half their face when they go out in public, so...
That's just mean-spirited.
I said I include myself in that group.
I know, I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. Being the Lunatics, my shtick, Phil. Back off.
No, I'm just saying, you know what, Phil? You're a handsome man. It doesn't work when you say it. So it's like, then they say, I'm going to be self-deprecating. I should cover my beautiful face. Like, I want to cover this beautiful mustache. No.
Mustache!
I'm just saying that actually, what I was going to say is, like, I think actually masks are cool, except for the fact that they screw up my mustache. I mean,
they do it in Asian. They've been doing it in Asian cultures forever because they have respect for each other. But that's a whole other thing.
I actually think, at least in New Jersey, I think we're going to be keeping masks around because I think most people kind of like, I didn't recognize you because of the mask. People, when you
don't have to talk to people if you don't want.
Don't have to talk to people. You can. The biggest problem is glasses fogging. If someone can invent the mask that doesn't fog your glasses, which you probably can do with a simple heating element in your mask, and I was watching on Wendy Williams today because my wife watches.
Charlie watches Wendy Williams. That's
my wife watches Wendy Williams, and I work from home, so I watch Wendy Williams.
With me now.
Don't get me started on Wendy Williams.
How you doing over there, Charlie?
She made me mad today, but we're not here to talk Wendy Williams.
Oh, good for you.
But, Phil doesn't even know who Wendy Williams
is. I know who Wendy Williams is. I don't watch it, but I know who she is.
Phil knows who Wendy Williams is.
Yes.
I've heard Howard Stern mention her. Come on.
She has, like, the masks that have, like, a little scrolling digital LED sign. And so you could have one that has, like, a defroster foyer glasses built into
Yeah, I'm
the...
sure if you look on Google right now, there's probably some instructions for things like that.
I'm sure you can sell it, and you can make it widespread and mass-produced, and then, suddenly everyone wants to wear a mask all the time, It just becomes normal fashion. It's like when people in the 40s used to always wear hats, And it's like...
The bald man's dream. The bald man's dream.
Well, I don't know.
George Costanza.
Well, only because he was a self-hating bald. That's
exactly. He didn't just go full throttle. He tried to hold on to it.
Yeah, he felt it was... And of course, he wanted a woman with a hair that his hand could get stuck in, and it's like, you're such a hypocrite, George. Such a hypocrite. Which
where are you going with this, Phil? I'm sorry. Wonder Woman? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, whatever. See you later, Bunky.
I kind of figured.
I wish Wonder Woman all the best. I don't think Warner's has a plan. I think they're just out there chasing cars, and if they actually catch one, they literally won't know what to do with it. So. They're literally burning piles of money. Maybe they are maybe the Joker has infiltrated Indeed. I don't know. It seems like it. Seems like it.
Do you want to talk about the new editor-in-chief at DC?
Sure.
So who is this person, DC people who read DC books?
Lilith?
Nobody.
Okay.
she's a nobody. Like I said, she wasn't even in my top 25. Probably not even my top 50.
Was she like
shocked.
Was she like on the business end or?
Yeah, which is, it's to be foreseen. I'm willing to give her a shot. They picked her for a reason. Not just for being, not just trying to be woke or anything, Hopefully.
No, that's the thing is I don't think DC is looking to be woke. I really don't.
You'd be surprised.
Well,
I hope that wasn't the case. I hope she actually has like the credentials and she could actually work through that freaking gnarled mess of a editorial staff.
Well,
everybody's got ego. It's really bad over there, so they definitely do need something to be done, and I hope she's the person to get it done.
Well, like I said, I think what DC needs is a Jim Shooter. And Jim Shooter was a guy who was hated at Marvel, but also the guy who made modern Marvel. He was the guy who said, look, we have a continuity. Here are the rules. Here's what your characters do, and here's what your characters don't do. So I don't want to see your character doing this because that's not what that character does.
So, Marie...
But at the same time, what's her name?
Marie Javins.
Marie Javins. But yeah, they also have been having these huge senior layoffs at the same time. So, I mean, get the old blood out of there that's being, negative and, holding up progress. And also, they probably make the most money. You know how that goes. Give them their severance package. Get them out of there.
Well, and...
They just fired.
I know making the most money in comic books is a weird statement to make, but
well, unless you're creator owned, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like Bendis, I know gets a lot of money, and it's like
only at DC.
Only at DC. Well, exactly. Because that's the thing. It's like outside of there, because for what it's worth, most publishers know.
Well, they make their money like everybody else, in the fandom community at freaking cons.
Well, yeah,
signing an artist alley.
It's basically the idea that without a good editor, Fitzgerald isn't a good writer. And that's probably true of Hemingway and everyone else. And if you just let Hemingway, or as often happened to Orson Welles, just give him money, he mostly drinks it. And so you have this reality that when you're dealing with creatives, you need someone that can hold them in place. You need someone who can point the gun, essentially. It's like, you need, it's great to have a weapon, but someone needs to know how to point it.
They say she has creative talent, so we'll see.
And they should. I'm sure she should, and I'm sure she is very creative. But what's going to really sell her is that she's going to be able to use her creativity to unify a vision.
Well, it's just very telling that they are firing a lot of the most senior staff. So it's just very telling about their vision and plans for DC. Yeah. The whole 5G thing they say they canceled, but doesn't look like they canceled it to me. They just shortened it. Things like that. Just raising eyebrows.
Yeah.
Just raising the old eyebrows,
Eyebrows.
It's entirely possible that they were a top-heavy company, too, which is something you never want to be as a company, especially if you're a company that was acquired whose basic value is that we have legacy characters. So immediately AT&T says, so why do you need to keep on writing stories for them? You're a legacy character, so we can move you to a profitable location, like television movies. Why do we need you to keep on writing these books?
Because
why
no
do we
one
need
cares about the books out. I mean, nobody likes new characters. Like, it's a thing.
No.
It's a thing.
Well, that's the thing. But that's the thing. That's why that's the thing is like if AT&T, of course, for what it's worth, AT&T, not an entertainment company. It's I guess
communications that are bad at communications.
I guess you argue it's a media company, but not an entertainment company, which Disney is.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah. So Disney's going to say, okay, let's see how your creativity works with our creativity, and we're going to smack some of your creativity down because it's not our creativity. But whereas AT&T is like,
keep it PG, stupid.
Yeah. Whereas AT&T is like, what are you going to make for us that's going to give us money on whatever
I feel like
communications network we put you on?
You gotta support the GoFundus, man. Our Kickstarter. You gotta go support.
That's
we need
right.
$4 billion to save DC.
$4 billion.
Yeah.
Come on, Bruce Wayne, come through. If there's a real life Bruce Wayne, come through.
Come on, Ray. You're secretly a billionaire, right?
Yeah. Well,
It's just a mess and it's sad, but I actually don't care. Like, every single day, it's like, oh, we don't even get, like, it's been 7 days since DC's done something stupid. No, it's been like 6 hours since DC's done something stupid. And I miss the Outhousers. Oh my god, I miss Outhousers.com so much.
So, do you think there's any chance?
There's no hope for the foreseeable future.
Well,
I told you guys, I'll check back in 5 years.
Well, that rumor about them maybe like straying away from monthly comics and maybe going to like,
I hope so. Something needs to be retooled desperately. Something in the milk ain't clean. So
yeah, I mean, like I
just
said,
put out 16 million Bat books like you've been doing and cancel everything else because you don't care about anybody else. Apparently, you only care about Superman.
I mean, not to make Lilith mad here. But they could go to the Archie model for a brief period, where it's like, what if we just put out a lot of digests?
And they've been doing that at Walmart, if you guys have noticed.
Yeah,
and just like not for nothing, put them at the checkout stand and kind of rebuild our brand that way. Keep ourselves in the public eye.
And it worked for Archie's relaunch when they rebranded to a more modern time. It worked out fantastically.
Exactly. I mean, Archie's may be the model that DC maybe has to look at and say, well...
And, Archie has snatched some of top DC talent, such as Mark Waid, a couple other people, too, but Mark Waid most notably, who very much has said very publicly he enjoys his time over at Archie, so...
yeah. I mean,
it's worse companies to model after, to be honest.
Well, I was going to say, if nothing else, do we need like a monthly comic every single month of the year? I mean,
can we just get World's Finest or something? Well, just rotate?
Or what I was going to say, can they do like seasons, like TV shows do? Like, give us a Batman, like every 6 to 9 months, and then those other 3 months, if you're looking for something else, give us somebody else. Like, give another character.
It's all about the t-shirts for them at this point, and it's so very obvious because I'm just going to transition over into comics. Sorry, Philip, because there's no entertainment news really worth talking about.
No, that's it. Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Punchline, like I've been telling you guys, is a very focus group character. and if you can't tell from this issue that it has been very focus group heavy, and all the things that they're touching on with such as like online radicalization, just online culture in general. Things like that is for a very specific demographic, and they're trying to see if that actually works. And I heard that the comic book actually sold. I know people that don't like Punchline don't like it, but Punchline, much like in the comic book, has her fans.
I mean, for the whole story, because I know you probably didn't read it, Charlie. Just she's on trial for helping the Joker.
For crimes during Joker
War.
I read this a while ago, and now a couple of things make more sense.
And
with the apology and things like that from Batman 100.
And
also bringing in Leslie Tompkins, and we have Bluebird and her brother.
Yeah, Harper.
Who they're building out.
But it's like, her followers are all like, saying, "Oh, she didn't do anything. She was just like there with the Joker."
No crime, no time. And I'm like, she actually did crimes. She just may have not publicly murdered.
She was an
people.
accessory.
She deserves to be locked up.
Yeah, she actually did murder a lot of people.
She tried to slice Harley Quinn's throat. I mean, she did actually get Harley
homeless people, Phil.
Yeah,
she experimented on homeless people.
But
wasn't like the public's not privy to that particular thing.
Well, yeah,
but there's other things that she was guilty of doing. Joker
bad at their job.
I mean,
well, duh. They let a man in a bat suit run around policing people, other crazy people. Hello, and that's kind of her point.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Why the heck is Batman not investigating the rash of people killed on Skid Row?
The Narrows, which I'm glad we're actually bringing more focus to with Harper and her brother. So
yeah, so sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Batman is bad at his job, and that was the whole point of Joker War. End of story. That's what it was. Literally said so as much. So now we're trying to see how this is shaping Gotham.
And now he doesn't have his resources he used to have.
Yeah.
Does he not have his resources like Tony Stark doesn't have his resources?
Pretty much, yeah.
Lucius cut him off, bro. He's like, you're bad at your job, bro.
How would I live on $6 billion?
I told you they're both
living. How would I live off the interest of $6 billion?
I told you they're both living in brownstones now.
Yes.
It's got a heated sidewalk. # changed my mind. He's still living a fancy life.
But
Selena's still stealing stuff to supplement. Don't you worry about Bat and Cat.
Oh, they're taking a 1-year break. What the hell?
Sure.
Well, since you brought up...
But I was going to say, I felt personally attacked because, Punchline had a Joker podcast. And Lilith, did you see how many episodes it was?
52, of course.
Of course.
You knew it. You knew the punchline before you even got to it. I feel like that narration, it was a lot of narration, very Bendis, a lot of dialogue. I felt like it went off on a lot of tangents. Bendis actually wrote this book. Don't blame Bendis for this book. No, Tom King did, but no, it was very dialogue heavy is what we mean when we say it's a very Bendis feel. Because he loves the dialogue, he loves the narration blocks, he loves it.
It wasn't Tom King.
Tynan. James, right? Yeah. There we go. Same difference at this point.
Tynan and Sam.
No offense. I've loved him in the past, but when it comes to right now, Batman's related stuff, their name is mud to me.
Tynan and Sam Johns, is that any relation to Jeff Johns?
I don't think so. Otherwise, I think it would have been made a bigger deal about.
I don't think Johns is an uncommon name. It's like
in comics, it is.
Well, no, I'm just thinking it's DC, and Jeff Johns is bigger over there. So maybe he was given family.
Nepotism runs rampant for sure. But like I said, I feel like they are definitely researching their material better. I love the online culture stuff because he's kind of an old guy, so I feel like he really did do his research. He got a lot of it wrong, especially with the YouTube apology, because when you do YouTube apologies, that just draws the ire of more people, makes you more hated. Because nobody's ever in the history of YouTube done a good apology. But it just doesn't exist.
But this podcast, she's like going around to different places and thinking about all the stuff that Joker's done.
That's how she lures them in. That's her.
But she's like, oh, you dumped Joker toxin in the Gotham Harbor.
She had points, straight facts.
Well, she's like that.
In this universe, according to the logic, those were straight facts.
Well, she was like that was wrong, but then also that got people to look into the water was already polluted in the harbor, and it's like. Okay.
Yeah, thanks to Batman.
Please.
Don't that scarecrow.
Don't blame Bruce Wayne. They were dumping crap in that river Court of Owls was dumping crap in that water way before Bruce Wayne was born.
Oh, I know.
Let's be clear, Gotham. There's how anyone is alive in Gotham is a scientific miracle where you almost got to imagine. Wait. Is there something in the water that's keeping people alive now?
Hey, remember that
Here's the gag.
Lilith, remember that Barbathos story? Thomas Jefferson was helping them raise a spirit. Come on. A demon.
It's crazy. But like I said, I think that it's very well researched, and the people that it's meant to appeal to, it is definitely appealing to, and like I said, it did really good numbers, and she has her fans. A lot of them. Scarily so.
Okay.
The youth, I'm scared for the youth because this is all about like I said, the online radicalizations of the youths, the online culture and how it facilitates that, the toxic nature of parasocial relationships. I totally get it. Like, I don't know if I was just like giving it more credit than it's worth, but I saw the layers. Were they executed as best they could be? No, because he's an old guy and he doesn't get it. But he did the best to his ability, and I can appreciate the things that he's trying to say with Punchline.
But is it like radicalizing the youth? Like, you know, how like back in the day, like, you know, half of Archie Bunker's audience didn't get the joke?
That too, but like I said, if you go on Tumblr, if you go on Reddit, if you go on 4chan, there are absolutely people making these same claims for other people. I mean, like, for most of my life, I've been on the internet, and the scary thing is, you can see good guy Hitler. Okay? Good guy Hitler. Whoa!
You go on the internet.
I mean, look at Parler. You know, you get these echo chambers and things like that. It absolutely can and does happen.
Oh, I love how the Trump supporters need a safe space now. Now who's the snowflake?
Oh, they'll be back on Facebook. You can't argue with, who wants to argue in an echo chamber? You know? They'll be back. Don't worry about it. Enjoy it while it lasts, people. And if you see me on Parler, no, I'm not a white supremacist right-wing nut. I'm just trolling people. Don't mind me.
Oh, nice.
Don't mind me.
Nice.
I'm having my fun.
She's Steve from Nebraska on there, kids.
So, just speaking of books for the youths, I would like to talk about Champions for a quick bit.
Sure.
Yes. Did they fix the problem with D-Man?
No, I did write them their letter, though. And I did want to discuss this.
Which issue is that?
This is Champions 2. It's only been 2 issues.
Oh, okay. I thought they had more out. Okay.
Well, no, they had more before.
Well, yeah, they rebooted, yeah.
Yeah, it was a reboot, but, you had COVID.
A reboot of a reboot?
Yeah. Well, Champions, it's a generic name. And no one's ever really gotten it to work. So I'm not married to this book yet because it could go for a long time. But, you have the kids in the re-education camp. And, it's a really interesting balance between both the reality of you are kids who are literal atomic bombs who can kill people, and teenagers saying, oh, you're just an old man who wants to keep me down. And it's like, yes, literally, I'm an old man who wants to keep you down because you're an atomic bomb who could literally kill people. And also within this, you get this entire thing of, historical references to, yes, we're a re-education center, re-education camp, a residence school, and all the different places that, various groups have held people without power for generations to damage them. But you also get within this, again, speaking about the radicalization of the internet and the radicalization of the youths. When we go to a Chicago-based protest, there is this back and forth between the what they're calling which is weird, because they're calling it Patrick's Law, not Kamala's Law. I don't know why, because I'm missing an issue on that. Although the champions are still calling it Kamala's Law, which Kamala hates, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, of course. And then they are confronted by a group of other youths who are basically saying, look, it is so freaking scary that paramilitary organizations are attacking high schools because they think a teenage superhero is there. And it is a great balance between these 2 points of view, which we then get with Riri, everyone's favorite Riri Williams, who is basically checked out of the whole conversation because she is like, where really being a superhero has kind of been a negative to her because, yes, she was Riri Williams, MIT Wunderkind, long before she ever built the armor just to prove she could. And now, because she built the armor, now there's all these obligations and things that people want from her, including the champions who are saying, you're supposed to come and save us. And then you have really almost kind of a sad bit here with Nova, where he's like, I don't, fine, you're great. You could have been anyone you wanted, but because I'm, I don't know what I'd be if I wasn't Nova, which is like, well, that's kind of sad for you, Nova. So, I mean, they do this amazing balance of the 2 different ways that people are radicalized, how people can be both radicalized left and radicalized right, how people can stop having the conversation which is, yes, I know, an old man thing to say, why don't we have a conversation and figure out what we really want to do to move us forward? And that's, and it's just a really great book. I did write them a letter. I did call out that, you know what, D-Man deserves better. But I did also point out in my letter that, you know what, I understand. You know what? He had Starling say it. Starling, granddaughter of the villainous Vulture. And so maybe she wasn't raised in a world where superheroes are ever given respect. And so maybe her disrespect for D-Man, who, quite frankly, adult heroes aren't running towards either.
With a name like D-Man, I mean, I'd watch
that.
Yeah,
you know. Not for nothing. Yeah, it's like, I understand it. It's like there is this view of the world that, yeah, you know, D-Man isn't exactly a star, but you know what? Maybe he's also the diamond in the rough, much like these kids. And they even made a whole thing about, you know, a lot of the, you know, because I said, you know, I made the point that there are not other hero, like, you know, the Avengers Academy kids in this, and how they might, I would love to see how they see it. Do they say, well, you know, we did it the right way, 50 State Initiative, and we went to the Avengers Academy and we got our licenses to be heroes? Or do they say, no, we were actually the kids that they forced into these into the process, and you know, because they felt we were the most dangerous and we were the most likely to become supervillains, so they had to control us. So, I mean, it's interesting.
And we saw how that turned out over in Deadpool 2, the movie. So yeah, it's always fun.
Deadpool 2. Oh, well, yeah, that's the movie. So
that's a Fox movie.
Yeah, it's only semi.
One of the best Fox movies. So you know,
that's true.
Well, it's definitely the best Fox movies, but that.
Well, no, Logan, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2. That's how that goes.
Yeah, I can go along with that. Although I think Logan only. Here's what I'll say. Logan.
I don't even like Logan, just from the cinematic aspects and things like that. The storytelling I felt was a little better.
Yeah, I think Logan only works because it's an X-Men movie. I think Deadpool, completely separate from any Marvel concept, like it could be a pastiche character story and it would still work.
Wouldn't anybody go watch it if it wasn't Deadpool, though? That's the point.
No, that's true. But it's like it's well written and it's got such great talent that if it was called Red Pool, it would be a cult classic regardless.
Ryan Reynolds does cosplay.
Oh my!
And I'm sure he has like a podcast or a YouTube channel where he does that. I'm sure.
Coming soon.
Cosplay is hard. Don't.
Oh no,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
he's got the money for it, so it's fine.
He does, but does he? Here's the thing: money is not the same as dedication and effort. It's like every time I talk to Tristan about cosplay, and it's like, okay, well, here's what we have to do: we have to go to Joanne Fabrics. We have to go get you. We have to go get it. First, we have to get a cloth measuring tape to get your measurements. Then we got to decide what your measurements are. Then we got to figure out what kind of materials we'll use, and you know. And then it's like, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear we're going to make me a Stormtrooper costume together. Which means he wants me to make him a Stormtrooper costume.
You got to pitch in or you don't get it at all.
You do all the work, Dad. I'll take all the glory.
Well, I mean, to be fair, my mom was a seamstress, so certainly I had her make all my costumes. Hey, I didn't want armor. I just wanted freaking... You know,
hear that, Tristan? We just proved your case for you.
Hey,
Tristan,
you know,
put on the work.
Tristan, have you learned how to spell hypocrite?
No, I'm not a hypocrite. Because
he just wants to spend time with his boy, and it's the only way he can trick him into doing it. Don't judge him, Phil.
No. What I'm going to say is my costumes were much more simpler. My costumes were the captain.
And Tennille?
No, the captain from... See, all of my costumes were always from that specific era of Marvel. So I was Rick Jones Hulk, not David Banner Hulk. I was Rick Jones Hulk because I had brown pants. And I was the captain, not U.S. agent because that wasn't a character yet. So, you know, it was black sweats and, I drew out the designs for my mom.
It's the Ben Riley School of Cosplay. I got you.
Yeah, these are the things that it needs to have. And my mom improvised, and she said, I can actually make the wings doing this. And my mom said, that was so cool, Mom. Thank you. And so, I still, when my dragon costume, I did do the design on. And I figured out, we can use, kite sticks to make the wings. And we did the whole thing. So, yeah, my mom did a lot of work.
So, moral of the story is there's nothing stopping Charlie S from designing his own Winpool costume.
No, there's nothing. But building it is my problem. That's hard, And also the materials, because I can't spend money on myself. That's a personal thing. I could spend money on the kids, but on myself, I can't spend money on myself.
Oh, spoken like a true dad. I'm glad I don't have freaking kids.
No, trust me.
You're not spending all your money on them dogs.
Heck on earth, let me tell you.
You get them good dog food. Make sure they have their shots and take them to the groomers. They raise themselves,
No fancy.
You just make sure they don't bite people and know when the hell to shut up.
No fancy toys.
Well, true. Gotta keep an eye on
it. If anyone's biting anybody in that house, it's a little hellfire.
But not for nothing. The fanciest dog toy is not a PS5.
True.
No, that's for me.
Exactly.
For me. And honestly, get an Xbox. The PS5 is garbage. I know, guys. If you know me, if you follow me online, you know how I feel about Xbox. I feel Xbox has always been superior to PlayStation. Like, I've always had a PlayStation and an Xbox, but this generation of PS5 is just not.
Lilith Hellfire with the controversial opinions this week.
I'm going to get it, obviously, for Spider-Man, but you gotta have an Xbox. Like, you just
Xbox over PS5, Dunkin' Donuts coffee over Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. I'm for the people, okay?
That's not controversial. Nobody likes Starbucks coffee except for the millions of people who drink it. But
Instagram pics,
I'm not a big coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I can attest to the Dunkin' Donuts. I know of 2 local Dunkin' Donuts, man. In the mornings, there's lines wrapped around the building, man.
It's just the smell and like, I've always been a Dunkin' Donuts person. Like, I literally was like,
Oh, I love their donuts.
When I was in Chicago, I was like, okay, I have to live in a place with the most concentrated Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I love their.
You walk in Chicago.
I love their donuts.
What's that? Gladfeld? What? Simon Gladfeld? Anyway, there's an author, and he makes this point that, so the thing about Starbucks is people like Starbucks because they have creamy, sweet coffees that don't taste like coffee.
Milkshakes, yeah.
Yeah, they have milkshakes, and then they also sell coffee. And in fact, as people have pointed out, that, and Matt Pat makes a whole point about this in his discussion of Starbucks, where like their most popular drinks are the ones that don't taste like coffee. Dunkin' Donuts actually makes coffee that tastes like coffee that's good coffee. Starbucks coffee is abysmal,
and it's an affordable price. I've never like the smell of Starbucks. Like when I go in the store for like one of their ice chillers or something, like I'm just absolutely forced. I just do not enjoy the smell of it. Their food, the coffee comes on, it just makes my stomach retch. I walk into Dunkin' Donuts and I feel like I'm home. That's what it is.
Malcolm Gladwell, that's his name. Took me a second. Malcolm Gladwell. He makes this point, and I've seen this in one of his lectures. In fact, I think it was in the Matt Pat video on coffees, the pumpkin spice latte specifically, that he was speaking about. It's like, okay, so, everyone likes black coffee, right? It's like, you like that coffee strong and bitter, but actually, who drinks their coffee strong and bitter? No. Everyone takes cream, everyone takes sugar, and just this thing that there's this idea of coffee, and then there is the actual
coffee. Yeah, everybody I know, it's like, put 5 sugars and 3 creams in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
what's the point? Just drink an espresso and get it over with. Be strong like your Italian brethren.
Or, just
leave caffeine alone because it's horrible for you. But, I'm not a doctor.
Do that too. Yeah. Anyway, so Dunkin' Donuts is superior to Starbucks. Although, actually, who has really great coffee is McDonald's.
Yeah, no, actually, that is technically America's favorite coffee when you do it by the numbers.
And actually, if you really want to get technical, Wendy's has a really good roasted bean.
Well, really? Because they just started doing breakfast not so long ago, so I
know, but it's called Redhead Roasters.
Of course it is. Cute.
It's actually really it has a really consistent flavor.
You have to give it a try, Lil. If it's named after a ginger. Come on.
I know. Well, the funny thing is, I used to love Wendy's as a kid. Something has changed fundamentally in the way that they do business, and none of it tastes good. Like, their fries are gross, the meat's different.
Yeah, they probably cheaped out on something. Yeah, how do you think you stay rich?
On everything, and I don't believe that fresh, not frozen crap. No way.
Yeah. See, well, that's McDonald's advantage is they've always been.
Well, they own the farms.
well, yeah, but they're consistently mediocre.
Exactly.
They're just good enough to be good.
And their sauces cover up that nasty meat.
Exactly. It's like everything is just perfectly.
It's precision.
It's precision where what you're going to get.
I used to work at McDonald's. Yeah, they set the bar low, so
the
standard's always been the same.
Yeah, they set it low but good. It's like they know where they
have enough of the preservatives and the sugar formula to keep you addicted.
Yeah, they know how to tweak the taste.
They know
just
how
enough.
to thread the needle.
Yeah.
Like Burger King, for example, Burger King will constantly have cycles between when they're being a flavorful burger or a cheap burger. And if you eat as much fast food as I have over the years, you do notice this. And you notice how the Whopper formula changes from where you are. So a Canadian Whopper is completely different from an American
Whopper. Well, they have a whole different set of rules and regulations for what they can allow in their meat and the grades and things. I mean, just don't eat at Taco Bell. That's all I'm saying. You're eating meat filling that is like grade D.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're eating meat at Taco Bell, if you're going to Taco Bell for the meat, you've made a mistake. But their grains and cheeses and filler, they actually are great with fillers, you know?
Yeah.
Never say that the filler is the wrong part of the food to eat, you know? The filler is there to fill up the food, you know?
Where do we get off on this tangent? I don't know. I do have a great book I want to suggest.
You had to throw out
PS5.
Go ahead, Lil.
Okay, I don't know.
Got us off on a tangent talking about coffee.
Well, we're just looking for sponsors. Dunkin' Donuts sponsor us. McDonald's sponsor us. End of story. I can't remember. I've talked about issue number 1 of Penultiman.
Take a drink. No, I don't think you did.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't remember you making that joke for this. So yeah, it's issue number 2. Somebody actually tagged me on Twitter, so shout out to Tiffany Anderson who tagged me about this. This is from Ahoy Comics, and it's by Tom Payer. You might be familiar with him from writing Our Man, Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of things. He's also was the assistant editor on Sandman.
All right, so here, what's the name of it again?
Penultiman. Like penultimate, but like man.
Okay.
And it's number 2. And if you like, it's like Hannibal Lecter, but with superpowers. Because basically, there's this hero, he's really failed, like in a big, grand scale way, and he has to like turn to his arch nemesis, who's this terrorist, like scientist, and he's incarcerated, so it's very much that Hannibal Lecter vibe. It's like a psychological thriller with superpowers, so if that sounds like something you might be interested in, pick it up. The art's great, and I love, the whole Silence of the Lambs saga. It's had its ups and downs, but I like it both in TV, movies, and book form, so I was interested. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it might be for you.
That does sound interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right. I was going to say, we have to talk it because I made Charlie read them. Lil, you read Amazing 52 and 52.LR?
Of course I did.
So, okay.
Who's going to stop them, Phil? Who's going to stop them? This has to stop. This is madness.
I don't know. But the whole thing with Kindred being Harry Osborn, are we still sure it's Harry Osborn? Because Norman's the only one who said it's Harry Osborn.
It's a clone! Clone sagas are back, baby!
Because he dug up
You said you wanted the 90s. Guess what?
He dug up all those bodies. He's like, oh yeah, one of them might even be me. So could it be Flash?
No. Okay. I'm going back to the Evil That Men Do. It's the guy who bought Mysterio's costume. It's all illusion. Nothing is real. He did his research. He said,
Daniel Reinhardt? What?
This is what I'm saying. It's like, it's all... Just
comic book writers, no offense. Most comic book writers just aren't that clever anymore.
Because here's the thing about Mysterio. Mysterio was always semi-mystical in his presentation. So you can't... In fact, even in his last, when he dies of cancer, it is this whole pseudo-mystical presentation. Ooh, I am the ghost of Mysterio.
I think it comes down to, are they gonna undo the
They
Mephisto
want to do
thing?
the Osborn thing. They have to do the Osborn thing. They can't help themselves.
It's gonna be supernatural if they want to undo the whole Mephisto deal thing. If not, yeah, maybe it is like a Mysterio thing, but it just depends where they're going with it.
Here's what I'm gonna say. When Norman Osborn when he kidnaps Mary Jane to say, "Oh, here's what Harry Osborn," she says, "I just saw Harry. He doesn't seem like he's kindred," which suggests that Harry Osborn isn't currently dead and is just living a life.
Yeah, they never showed.
He's in Switzerland. It's fine.
He was alive last we saw him.
So no. So you want me to break it down to you? So, if you watch The Boys, anyone here watch The Boys? There was a recent episode where they show the recruitment of Frenchie, whose name is Serge, by the way. We actually recently got that his name is actually Serge.
It's Frenchie. No one
cares.
cares.
His name is Serge, not Frenchie.
Okay, Mark Spector.
Okay. But his name is Serge. But when he actually gets brought in by Mallory, there's this whole thing about he weaponized Xanax because he knew the super in the area was basically the Hulk character.
All right.
Raised fueled, so he shoots him up with so much Xanax that suddenly he's all calm, and that defeats him. But here's the idea: is if you were someone I'm gonna fix all the mentally ill super villains, you don't have to fix them to the point where they're sane. You just got to get them stable. So if you
Charles Xavier messed with the brain, gotcha.
Exactly, but you can do that chemically too. So suddenly you're the Mysterio character. We're going to inject everybody with something. And here's the thing. Here's how I'm thinking this might be the case. When we all see the Spider Women attacking Brooklyn Bridge, they're all monstrous and crazy with things. But when everything goes back to normal and the Spider Women are trying to save things, everyone's still afraid of the Spider Women. And there's no rips in their costumes or weird mystical things, which suggests that maybe all that stuff that we think happened didn't happen. That he just did mind control stuff. And, oh my gosh, here's the fun part. The guy who got the Mysterio costume, do you know what his actual power was?
What?
He could teleport small amounts of drugs directly into your biological system. So basically, the whole thing is all just acid trips.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Again, like Lil said, I think you're giving them too much credit, but if they do something like that, that is their workaround, so they could be like, oh, Spider-Man never made a deal with the devil. He would never do that.
No, I'm just saying, mark my words.
Ooh.
I'm going to just put that out there right now. Mark my words. It's going to come back to that Kevin Smith Evil That Men Do story. The idea of this guy who could teleport drugs into someone else's system, getting the Mysterio costume, and essentially convincing people to drive Spider-Man mad because he wants to destroy Spider-Man. Because it's a personal thing to destroy Spider-Man.
Mark my words.
That would make it more interesting for sure.
Because for what it's worth, why the heck would Harry Osborn want to destroy Spider-Man?
Again, I don't know if it's because
there's reasons.
Their whole history,
though?
but okay.
For a petty Osborn, yes. Well, petty is also a trait.
One, two, he was dead before Spider-Man made the deal. After he makes the deal, all of a sudden Harry Osborn's alive again, and he was just in Europe or whatever. Did the deal somehow drag him out of his grave? Maybe he was chilling in heaven and now this is damned his soul somehow. Who knows?
Okay.
We're doing the Buffy? Okay,
you know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. And this is what I really want to tell you.
He would not be in heaven. He's not.
Mark my word.
Let me put it to you this way. If you're reading over in Avengers where Mephisto is Mephistoing around, Mephisto doesn't smash things with a hammer. Mephisto whispers in people's ears.
As all good devils do.
Yeah, he whispers, he threatens. He is, as he says in Secret Wars 2, when the Beyonder destroys death, I am an itch. What am I without death? You know? And the reality is that, you know, yeah, this could all still be part of Mephisto's master plan, but to assume that he's having demons come up from the ground to eat you, blah, blah, blah. Really, that's not Mephisto style.
Or do you think maybe Mephisto's done with the whole deal, and he said, you know, now everything's coming apart, and Mephisto was like, yeah, I'm getting bored with this.
Well, no, because first
a deal's a deal, sir.
Yeah, a deal's a deal for a demon. It's like there actually are rules of magic that bind them. You know, that they utilize whatever structures we understand, but like
all
the
right,
rules
I'll take
are still binding to them. You know.
Yes, I hear the demon now.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay, but anyway,
more like Ra's al Ghul, but yeah.
But mark my words, that's what's going to happen. We're going to see that at the end.
I'm
not
bored. That's all I know. They're killing me.
They're just dragging it out too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with
gotta write for them trades.
Especially with this, you know, these LR issues. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Just get to it.
Stop taking the nerds' lunch money. We gotta eat. Okay. You hit them right in the face with that sack.
Oh, Charlie, did you want to throw out another book?
Sure. Well, I got so let's start indie. Actually, you know, I'm not going to do that one yet. I'm going to actually do one that I really do care about. Is We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Which is by L. Ewing. And again, I love the art in this book. I love that watercolor. It reminds me of Epic in the 90s. It's a weird thing for me. It's like, oh, that's my thing. And they, you know, in the last issue, they jump outside of the galaxy, and now they're in the space between galaxies, and they're being chased.
Warp speed!
Yeah. And there's this whole thing about how, like, oh, yeah, you know, the freighters are designed to work with gravity wells. If we don't have a gravity well, we can't do anything. Oh, wait, there's something over there. Looks like it might be a rogue planetoid. When they actually get to it, it's actually one of the gods. And they realize, oh, wow, this god is bigger than usual. And they can use that to their advantage to battle the person who's chasing them. And we actually open up with the person who is chasing them basically being told, okay, look, you know, you're in the hospital. Yeah, it was an explosive decompression, yada, yada, yada. We saved you. You know, the other people are all dead, yada, yada, yada. But then we jump back in time and we get to this point. And the thing is, when they get to the god and they're flying around the god so as to sort what they're going to do, the god opens her eyes. And then basically they realize they just found a living god.
Yeah. Now I'm going to say, the story's okay for me, but this art, I absolutely am in love with the art. That's what keeps bringing me back to this book. It creates that atmosphere that without it, I don't know that the story would be as strong for me.
Yeah.
I really love the atmosphere of the book a lot.
Yeah, I agree. The atmosphere really sells it. It's really fantastic.
Otherwise, you're just reading Prometheus.
Yeah, well, you know, you're reading a lot. It's a lot of stories. You know, I mean, honestly, not to be rude, but the minute like L. Ewing says, "Oh yeah, we mine," you know, they're mining the space because like in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, you know, I didn't say that, but
nobody tell Marvel.
Well, no, you know, look, for what it's worth, it's like, yeah, it's an obvious thing. It's like, oh yeah, here's space gods. If they were dead, maybe we'd cut them up because, hey,
that's what we do. We're disgusting creatures.
Well, you know, people still eat mastodon steaks from time to time. Also read Bill and Ted Are Doomed Part 3. This does say it concludes in Part 4, so I can finally watch it after next month.
Poor thing.
Yeah, well, and it gives references to there's this whole thing where they're showing like where the people in the future are seeing the multiple timelines that exist. I'm trying to find the page of it, but basically, and you see scenes from the movie in it, and they even make the point that, well, it might be a decade before we're able to fix the thing and go back in time and fix it, giving us our time jump. But it's fun. Obviously, the Nordic god monsters are doing things, and most interesting is the final issue has them battling trolls for the Norse things, but I can't help but notice that the trolls look like Station. So I'm hoping for some interesting lore on that in our final episode, in our final issue. Oh, by the way, this was the penultimate issue. Hopefully.
Take a drink.
Take a drink, future love.
Oh, and just one more book. It's Image. I have to do an Image shout out, or I'd be remiss in my duties. Kickass versus Hitgirl #1.
Mm-hmm.
The moment we've all not been waiting for. But I do enjoy both books, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the story unfolds. A return to Albuquerque is always welcome. I will never complain about a Kick-Ass or Hitgirl coming out. But maybe it's wearing a little thin.
So,
I'll just say that to the writer. Maybe it's wearing a little thin. Maybe take a little break.
So that was the first one?
Yeah, it's #1. Lots of gore and not gore, but lots of action and punch 'em up as you would expect.
Okay. Quick Ms. Marvel 16, continuation of the Cradle story. We get Amulet back in this, which is nice. We find out that Nakia, friend of Kamala, may be ratting her out. So
not a snitch. You know what happens to snitches.
Which again goes to what I was saying about the champions, that look, I know you think you're doing good by being a superhero. Those of us who aren't superheroes don't actually see it that way.
We just want our insurance prices to go back to normal.
Well, it's the first time that you really get people like actually taking the anti-mutant propaganda view from the anti-mutant side, which is like, look, it's not that I'm mad that someone's a mutant. I'm mad that someone is a living nuclear bomb. I don't want that. I don't want to be living next to Charles Xavier, who's going to suddenly decide to rewrite my mind and do something horrible, And that's a reality of the world that I think Marvel is exploring in a very interesting way.
It's about time that they did it in a more interesting way, because I don't feel like they've ever lived up to the potential of what the whole anti-mutant thing could be or should be. Mm-hmm. So it's great to see that kind of narrative outside of Chris Claremont's hands. There, I said it.
Oh, but he's coming back along with some of those others.
With a vengeance. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wants this, except for maybe Disney. I don't know why they would want this, but okay.
Is maybe that whole House of X thing not the whole?
It's crumbled. That house has crumbled.
I mean,
it was a house of cards to start with.
I mean, was it not a good idea to do like a 22-part story going through every
magnum
the million X books that are out right now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and Marauders continues to be the best X book nobody is reading. Pick it up.
To be fair, they asked Hickman to do it. They knew what Hickman wrote. They told Hickman to write this. So it's like, you can't complain that Hickman wrote what you asked him to.
I don't have a problem with a lot of the Hickman stuff, but then you do this 22-part story, so it's like, what, you're trying to trick me into buying every X book? Pfft, sorry.
Exactly.
I ain't doing
it.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Philip.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Act like that's not every X.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Marketing scheme since I was a kid. Like,
I don't know, and I think that goes to my favorite era of X-Men is when they were in their own pocket and they didn't have to do all these crossovers. Let's just take it back. Everybody back to their own damn corners.
What, too?
Inferno, Mutant Registration.
And I know we've talked about this many times. We don't like it.
Hey, Inferno and all that stuff. There was, 3 X books maybe? How many X books are there now? Do we even know?
There's 20, right?
I was gonna say it's got to be at
more
least
than
10.
Spider-Man.
It's got to be at least 10.
X-Men, New Mutants.
Here, wait. There's
Marauders.
Wait, they always have the list in the back. Here, let me go down here.
No, I'm actually trying to go back to the 90s.
Oh, yeah. But no, right now.
X-Factor, New Mutants.
There was X-Force, X-Factor. There's
but you didn't really have to read those like you do with these crossovers.
Okay,
continuous crossover.
Okay, here we go. X-Men, Marauders, Excalibur, Wolverine, X-Force, Hellions, Cable.
Hellions is a waste.
And then every so often they throw in these one-shots, these X of Swords one-shots. So.
Yeah, that needs to come to an end real quick. I'm over it.
I know.
They're collecting dust in my comic book store. That's all I'm saying.
Seriously. I mean, it's 6 parts 16 and 22. I'm like, already? Come on. Get it done.
Okay, so you know
Taskmaster #1 was an excellent book this week. Very proud of Marvel. I like it. I'm invested.
Yes. I will say this. The only thing I didn't like about it, and it's the only thing, and it's not even a flaw in the book, it's a flaw in what I wanted to see happen that didn't happen. But, so open it with the murder of Maria Hill, and someone's trying to frame the Taskmaster. And this is actually my absolute favorite part, is what Taskmaster is doing, is he's at the Magia charity golf event.
Taking those suckers for their money.
Well, it's just the ridiculousness of the idea that the Magia is so established, they have a charity golf event.
Of course they do, for tax purposes.
And I love it. And they hire various. So, for example, one guy has hired Bullseye. Oh. Another guy has hired Taskmaster to be their ringer, to be their partner. Which is, and of course, it's one of these weird things where it's like, well, he has deadly accuracy. I actually know how to play golf. So, it's a great owning of Bullseye, which is always my favorite genre.
We concur. As Daredevil fans, we concur.
This is a little weird where he uses the ability to drive from Ghost Rider, but it implies he's like, yeah, I'm driving like Ghost Rider, except well, you're not actually a demon, so I don't know what that means, but we see that basically there's this woman in black who's hunting him down to kill him, and I wanted this person to be Finesse. I so wanted her to be Finesse. By the way, shout out to, I think, Captain Marvel, because it looks like they have Hazmat in there. Because that was one of the things I mentioned in my Champions letter, is like, hey, what are the other teen superheroes who went through the 50-State Initiative doing right now? But it's not Finesse, it's actually Black Widow, who is also in the Black Widow book, which is
Justice
also
for Maria Hill, her lover. # fight me.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. Maria Hill is as dead as Clay Quartermain.
Well, remember, they killed off Phil Coulson, too, remember?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, boy, and that's what I love about the end of this, which is, you need to reproduce the gate of 3 specific people. And I don't know if this lady has ever been in here before, but I'm guessing she hasn't, because she has like a very real world title, which is the Amy Han, director of South Korea's NIS Tiger Division. That's the first I've heard of the NIS Tiger Division, so I'm guessing that's the new one. But we got Okoye and Phil Coulson, who they call out to be the leader of Squadron Supreme, who we know is dealing with Mephisto as well. Again, because it's about subtlety. And then, of course, next episode, that. So, it's like that's Hyperion with his hand around Taskmaster, because...
we were just saying that we figured we would be getting a Taskmaster book even before it was announced, because of his association with Black Widow. And it's Taskmaster's time to shine, and I can't wait to see him in Deadpool. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, they could do it. They could do a Deadpool Taskmaster crossover.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the movie with Taskmaster meeting Deadpool, because we're going to see her in him in Black. So basically, what we can say is the delay of Black Widow is delaying our Taskmaster Deadpool meetup. But then we should talk about Black Widow, because that was a good book. We got the whole reveal. Oh, was that last week or was that this week?
Was it last week? Yeah, it was. It wasn't this week. I know that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. Then I guess you talked about it last week, but
no, you liked it. What, number 3? You liked it?
Oh, I loved it. I love that it's basically, and then it's basically one guy in the cabal says, "No, we're going to kill her." It's like, what the heck? That wasn't the plan. We just wanted her off the books because she was dangerous to us.
And you see how
it's important that we have vengeance. It's like, no, it's not important. Vengeance is not our goal.
And you see what happens when you try to kill her.
Well, exactly. And they didn't even do what they wanted to do.
Just keep her happy. She's out of your hair.
Classic bureaucracy red tape.
Again, not the bureaucracy, the person who wants to destroy the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy said, put her in this place. If you would like to file a motion to have her killed, please bring it up at the quarterly staff.
Triplicate! And it's the triplicate that drives everybody insane. No. Screw this.
Supervillains do not like bureaucracy, but they actually did what they wanted to do. But it was like, no, I don't want her to be happy. I want her dead, which again, within the entire concept of things, is just like, I want you to face your maker and answer for your crimes. Well, you're going to assume the maker's gonna take your side on this. The maker might say, why did they do that? That's kind of stupid. So, okay, go to heaven. Have happiness, or go be reincarnated as something better, I won't make you be born in Russia and have to be adopted into the Red Room. You can actually just be some lady in Florida and talk about comic books, because that is everyone's perfect life, quite frankly, I think.
Well, she is a Black Widow right there.
As long as you don't mind giant dinosaur-shaped alligators coming out of your pond, it's fine.
Well, you got to keep it interesting.
And armadillos. If you can tame armadillos, you can make a life here, sir.
Lilith lives in the South.
I'm certain that if Natasha Romanoff was reincarnated, she would have the spiritual memory to tame both the armadillos and the alligators to ride them to the grocery store if she wanted to.
Don't give me ideas!
I was going to say, like Lilith does.
Well, yeah, it was a pretty good week for comic books. It was especially a good week for indie comic books. So it's always nice to see.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. I think indie books are in their real renaissance right now. I think that the big three, if we're going to count Archie, are in their...
Well, really the big three is Image at this point.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point.
Because Archie's taking a break right now. They're retooling, so...
Yeah, I really think that, it's almost like the big five you had in Dark Horse. Really, you can go big six if you're going to throw in Boom, IDW.
Well, that's what I said. They said sales are up over the year before, because COVID.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I think that that's a good thing. I think the comic industry is really thriving right now in a way that it hasn't in years.
Well, and that's due to that creator, owner... Boom, that gives them a little bit more freedom, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. And I think, not for nothing, I think that things like Kickstarter are helping. This idea where
I love that's a whole genre of the Kickstarter comic book. I love that so much for creators who wouldn't be able to have a shot, at other places. Crowdfunding, it works. Give us $4 billion.
And for what it's worth, that's that's the crazy...
I think we should drop a business plan, maybe.
Okay, Miss CEO, let's do it.
All we need is someone who can draw. And...
Side joke.
Dang it! Well, I do know someone who can draw, but he's a professional drawer, so we need to pay him money, and that's the only problem.
He can write it off on his taxes. Tell him to come.
Yes. Well, if
charity work.
Win the lottery tonight, we'll all become much better tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes tonight.
All right. Should we cut it there?
Yes, let's cut it there. On a happy, positive note for a change.
Who?
We're all millionaires.
Anyway, so send us your thoughts on all the comics, anything we talked about, the coffee. What's your favorite coffee? Email us, capesandlunatics at...
First person saying Tim Hortons gets blocked, Charlie.
Tim Hortons is awesome. They put the nicotine in
Canadian butt back north of the border. Cut you, bro.
Anyway, send your thoughts, capesandlunatics at gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow the Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find links for all of our shows. The YouTube channel, you can watch this video. Go subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Links to merch.
Don't forget the bell.
Ding, ding. Merch. Patreon. All of it.
Stay hydrated. Come
That's
on,
right.
you gotta do it.
All in one convenient place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support our sponsors. Hear us in crystal clear HD with some tweaked audio headphones.
Don't use those dollar store headphones, kids.
No, don't be shopping at 7-Eleven. Anyway, yes, so get yourself some tweaked audio headphones and then go pick up, because you know you're keeping your butt home. Hunt a Killer.
Come on, man.
It's like an escape room delivered to your house, man. And help the show great. And the best part is you can use the coupon code Southgate at both sites.
That's right.
Both sites. Get a discount. Use it twice. They won't even know.
Just clear your cookies, cash-in cookies first.
Why did your eye drift over to my
You don't even have to do that, man. That's the thing. That's like, you don't even have to. It's like just, it's like counterfeiting. It's counterfeiting money, that Southgate coupon code. Use it.
You're weak sauce.
Trying to appeal to the criminal element, I see.
Okay, get it out of your system
I am
now.
from New Jersey.
Get it out of your system now. I don't need this tomorrow. He's going to be there tomorrow, so I see. Anyway, yes, and
we have to be good for.
No,
don't tell Rob.
Nobody tell Rob. Anyway, yes, and also for those of you learned types who like to read, go pick up Pod Life the book, now in digital and paperback. Audiobook coming soon. Volume 2 coming soon. Learn the ins and outs of podcasting from the experts and Rob Southgate. And you could
go click the link.
Yes. Oh, I was getting there. And you can pick that up on Amazon. And when you pick up the book, do your holiday shopping, all of that. Oh,
Black
hey.
Fridays every day now, guys. Thanks, COVID.
And hey, our holiday lists are up for our shows, various shows on the Southgate Media Group. So yeah, go check out the holiday lists. When you go to buy all that stuff, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, Southgate Media Group Network, and that mysterious, he loves his coffee, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
So says Master Doom.
He lives in Chicago, home of the mini lands of Dunkin' Donuts. There's like 100 of them, I swear.
What did you say? That's mustache, Charlie.
All right.
Well, thank you.
He said Charlie's, not yours, Lilith. All right, Lilith Hellfire, where can people get a hold of you?
If you freaking nerds want to hang out with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, on the gram with the cool kids of your hip grandparents at Lilith Hellfire 86 for boring life updates, and for the memes at Lilith Hellfire 69. And of course, if you're on TikTok, find me there at Lilith Hellfire 69, trying to blend in desperately. Choke that chicken!
Charlie Esser.
Well, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email, whether we're miles impossible, instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet DuckTales, a woohoo, every Monday at 7 p.m. Come see the expanded Disney After Universe be explored there at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE. Yes, SCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing!
Thank you, Maz.
That's right. We're going to be working on our last episode of the year tomorrow. with such luminaries as, like you said, Robert Southgate, Diane and Marnell from Alaska.
Keeping it international.
That's true. Who else? Oh, Jamie. Yeah, Jamie Burns will be here, so we'll be international. And Steve from Aim for the Head podcast. Yes. Bring it down, Charlie Esser.
Hey, it's a video podcast now, so I have to do this stuff.
Yeah, well, some of us are on video. Oh, Lil, you should be on camera tomorrow with your girlfriend.
I want to land my plane.
Hey, I was going to say for their podcast.
Wait, who are we, Phil?
Oh, we are Your Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Hit the post.